Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot! Topic 1. Old man's identity. So, the dubious looking Russian, Mr. Wallow. Obviously, what catches the eye in the first place? Whoa! It's the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now, we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copyous beard you sport. Well, there's also that. Now, moving on. And the question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself to this magnificent beard, Mr. Wallow? Man, look at this. This looks so cool. Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the man. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper. In particular, the fascinating front page article. Which, it would appear, you have read also, Mr. Wallow. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals our true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Yeah, Sholmes surely must be onto something over here. Like, at first glance, you can see this guy as a villain Bolshevik, but it can very well be like the other person that was shown on the article. We did hear, like, a womanly scream. It could very well that this person is the other person that the newspaper was talking about, which is the ballerina of the Novovich Ballet, Nikolina Pavlova. Yeah, I guess that surely would be something. That this would actually be the woman that disappeared from Shanghai. Having noted the article yourself, you decide to remove your incriminating facial hair before he gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary yourself, a villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. You're a revolutionary on the run. Wrongly. Now, that's my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Ah yes, Mr. Wallow. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. Oh. And I assure you, the eye speaks so much more eloquently, and honestly, than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before your very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could he possibly be concealing aside, we ask? Something that you would hide from us. By my estimation, a young lady perhaps, one slight enough to fit therein. Don't be absurd. What, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me, we are not well suited to a love of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil Your careless Kudo... I don't know how to say that word. Sorry, Sholmes. Betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your further glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. Yeah, what Sholmes is trying to say is that the lady that would be hiding inside the case would be the same as the lady in the newspaper. But there is another, most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Noby Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Kidnapping of a young ballerina. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Elemensky. Susato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it?
Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different, somehow.
Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes. Could you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Oh, Ironosuke, what are you doing? Are you doubting the deductions of the one and only Sherlock Sholmes? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's a newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Yeah, I mean, they have the beard, but other than that, the faces, they are all quite different. Ah, yes. I recall our discussion earlier. And at the time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary. Well able to revolutionize his own face.
In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Rollo does look more like this man than you do.
That's not the point. Another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. But not just at first glance. It is too small, clearly. You'd be looking to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you push really hard. Yeah, something tells me that whatever is inside that case is of a much smaller physique than the ballerina. Like, I guess you could argue for those kinds of people that can contort their bodies, like small enough to fit inside cases. That is one thing, but as far as I can see, the ballerina isn't that kind of person. Like, she does ballet, but it's not the same thing as being a contortionist. So, unless we're talking about a contortionist, you have to be really, really small. The size of a baby, even, maybe.
I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she?
You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. I mean, how could I?
Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case.
Some years ago, I heard something pertinent, I believe. A trope of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch. It would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Okay, so you were thinking of that idea as well. So that will be your explanation. You're saying that Pavlova is a contortionist herself as well.
Oh dear. You might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes.
Yeah, this whole thing is turning into a circus. Yeah, I mean, as far as I can see, I don't see that being the case here.
Mr. Nakado, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly.
I know, right? He is quite a magical man, in more ways than one.
It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seems a little off.
Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Ms. Susato.
It's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if you might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think?
Switch some keywords in his deductions.
Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius in Mr. Sholmes' great deductions.
Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. Ah, and you, my good fellow. Sorry. Take a moment to look at your wrist. My wrist? Ah!
Where are your handcuffs?
Ryonosuke, did you do that? Are you also magical? Huh? How do you... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. Oh. Does this mean that we're gonna be able to do the dance of deduction together with Sholmes? Oh my god! I don't believe it. He has unlocked my true potential, my true powers. I feel like I'm starting to believe.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel.
And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we're finished. I'm not worried. I bet I'll just stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Alright. One more time. Together. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Wallow. Obviously, what catches the eye in the first place? Is the enormous pair of shears in your hands. Now, we ask ourselves, what could he possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport.
I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard?
I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though.
It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Rollo either.
Which means I suppose that deduction is wrong.
Let's try to switch a keyword here, Naruto-san, and see if it helps matters.
Okay. Alright. But how?
I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Rollo. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on.
Yeah, I'm starting to question that myself.
Exactly. If you do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deductions better,
Then what?
then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Mr. Naruto-san.
Why might I want to do something about this? Because you're the protagonist, Ryonosuke. Come on. Try to capture the heart of Miss Susato right over here. in similar fashion to Mr. Sholmes. Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in the last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Rollo really going to use those enormous shears on? Okay, well... it kinda makes me question how we can do this. Copy's beard. What was the old man really about to cut? The thick hat, the copy's beard. Coat buttons. Can we actually move? Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder. Actually... Ah, there you go. The golden locks. Yeah, I guess so. This tells us that this is not actually the Russian revolutionary that is written about in the newspaper, but it was actually the ballerina.
Yes!
You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks your sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. Yeah, indeed. It certainly makes you question the identity of this person, and even the gender itself. You're not a man at all. You're a woman, and judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. Oh no! If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. Okay, well, I guess so. I guess there's that. I was thinking about cutting the hair of the animal that you are hiding. But, yeah, that's actually pretty good too. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Other than to hide her identity? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise. Did you? Well, I had my idea before about the possibility. I mean, who else can it be? But it surely surprised me that we actually saw the hair on her back as well. That surely tells you that this is not Villain Bolshevik. What? Why are you staring at me like that?
Yeah, it was a surprise. Naruto-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Yeah, of course we are. We are satisfying our gray cells over here. Sorry?
You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room, deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes.
I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. No.
Yeah, I understand. Say no more.
Well, I mean, you can join us too, Sato. I mean, imagine seeing her doing this. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that she picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now.
No, that's true. You believe Mr. Rallo is actually a woman.
Exactly. He, or rather, she, cannot possibly be this merciless revolutionary.
I suppose it's because deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now.
Exactly.
Let's search the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them.
For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. As though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. I mean, it is said in the article that this woman disappeared. When in actuality, maybe she escaped. To make it look like she was kidnapped or something like that by Villain Bolshevik. Maybe. To make us think. When in actuality, she was running away. And she was hiding her identity. Because if she wasn't hiding her identity, then should be found like pretty easily.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals their true identities, of course. The article about the ballerina. That's right. You've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Noby Ballet disappears from Shanghai. You would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yeah, because your true identity is that of the Noby Ballet's prima ballerina, Miss Nikolina Pavlova.
You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone.
A ballerina on the run. Okay, well, since we discovered the identity of this person as Nikolina Pavlova, then definitely this is not about the kidnapping of the ballerina. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Ah yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes trace. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. Well, I think that this is actually pretty solid right here. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. Well, except for the ballerina being like right there. But the evidence that will prove us of her crime, it is right over there. But not the crime of kidnapping ballerina, but rather something else. Something that the rules of the ship are stating about certain things not being allowed on the ship. So clearly she cannot be inside that traveling case as well.
Nah, that's right. It says she wasn't abducted at all.
In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again.
You seem to look pleased, Naruto-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes?
I mean, who wouldn't? Oh, stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. The proof of your crime sits before your very eyes. Yeah, that traveling case. What did he say? There must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Well, what one thing that comes to mind? Oh, look at that. There's her tiara right over there. But yeah, I guess I cannot really move. Like I wanted to move to a certain different place inside. Oh, hold on a second. I do have to wonder if it's about the tiara. That she actually stole the tiara.
Yes!
And to prove your crime is surely this tiara.
Ah!
I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Noby ballet, is it not? Indeed. They appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. I see. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. I see. So it's not really the crime that I was thinking of before. Actually, it could be a totally separate crime on a more minuscule level, but the crime that I think that we should be focusing on is the stealing of the tiara. She stole that tiara. The reason why she was glancing in the direction of the suitcase. I mean, Sholmes right over here was quote-unquote thinking of the traveling case, but it was actually the tiara. Summary. The crime you have committed is theft.
Oh no.
Yes, you left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you.
Ah! I have no one, no family, no friends. I'm all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal that tiara. It was a present from, let me say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me.
She was only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely.
Alright, I'll tell you everything. There's no point to hiding it now.
Come, let us not be hasty.
What?
There remains one unsolved mystery about you.
Mystery? What do you mean?
You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup de jour betrays you. Once again, we need only find your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. Not quite. Okay, so maybe this is the thing that I was thinking about before. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now.
I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you?
Maybe. But why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all of this? It's just a wild guess, surely.
Oh, do you think so?
Oh, it doesn't seem like the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her.
Yeah, that's true. But still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself.
And there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. It must be somewhere in the same area, and that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn.
I agree. That's the only answer.
Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. And the reason why she refused to open her case is not because of what is written in the books. It is because of what is written over here. She committed a crime by breaking the rules of passage. When it comes to keeping weapons and pets inside the ship.
Yes!
Yeah. The reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. The passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets, are also strictly forbidden. And we were talking before about how a human would be able to fit inside the suitcase if they are contortionists, or we're talking about a baby. But what if we're talking about something that is of similar size to a baby, like maybe a pet? Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from the carriage on this vessel. And that is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your traveling case is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet.
Ah!
Wow. That was fantastic. I surely did not expect something like this to happen. Wow. It surely makes the investigation more exciting. Like in between trials and such. Wow. I'm impressed. Great ace attorney. So clearly, you aren't who you said you were.
No, I'm not Grinsby Rollo. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct.
You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. It couldn't have been easy. The Beauty is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? Yeah, it's true. The reason why she disguised herself in the first place was because, well, she is well known. People would recognize her because of the newspaper and because of how well known she is. Yeah, with the ballerina thing going on. So it would make sense for her to hide her identity. If she wasn't as well known, then she wouldn't have been hidden like this in the first place. In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That verbal tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. Maybe it's because, well, since they have a pet as well, maybe Pavlova over here heard a knock, and then the animal was going around berserk and such, and then she screamed, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get discovered because of my own pet." And then, like, before us opening the door, she managed to hide her pet, like, inside the case right over there. She was scared out of her mind of being discovered. I think.
I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me.
They?
That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself? So no one would recognize me.
It's disguise herself.
As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man. I see. I put on a fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on a page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened. I couldn't stop from screaming.
Oh, I see.
I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fast as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and...
At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door.
Things happen like that sometimes, don't they?
Things do indeed happen like that, from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing?
There's just one thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You're right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew...
Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in our turn, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night.
Yes, alright. I will tell you.
Alrighty then.
Well, Mr. Naruto? Wasn't it something? Mr. Sholmes' great deduction?
It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows, and that's incredible. Yeah, that is indeed incredible. Good job, guys. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Yeah, what? Observe your wrists. Oh my. Could it be that we're gonna be getting another surprise? I was hoping that we would get like free candy or something. Now we have the cuffs again.
Your hands are cuffed again.
What? True to my words, I have restored your shackles. Yeah, you did say that.
There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruto. Sorry to say, it cannot be helped at the moment.
Yeah. It is indeed a huge mountain that we have to climb still. Can't it? Really?
Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I cannot go on not knowing. I had to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary was.
Alrighty then. What should we do? Should we examine first, or should we converse first? Or present some evidence? I mean, this is a whole new world that we're entering right here. Well, either way, I guess it doesn't really matter what order. Like, as long as we check, like, multiple times, like, some stuff, just to make sure. But otherwise, we're gonna be going through all this. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night?
One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast.
The man who died, he was a friend of mine.
Oh,
That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Like anything that caught your eye? Or anything that caught your ear, maybe?
perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example? Perhaps people talking?
Also, I've been thinking about the whistling noise, like what that could be. I was thinking of a parrot, 'cause parrots can whistle as well. Like, stuff like that. So, I mean, that could be something that explains it. But in which case, would you leave like your plate of food on the floor like that for a parrot? Because something like that would happen for a cat or for a dog or something like that. Reason why I was looking at that plate on the floor was because I think I was thinking that it was a pet, but maybe something along the lines of a dog or a cat. If it's a parrot, I mean, would you put that plate like on the floor for a parrot? There would be like a cage around here for your parrot or something like that. Or not necessarily a parrot, but like a birdie that would whistle. Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest? Perhaps its steam engine exploded? Ugh. I mean, that would be quite a short end to this case. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that happened.
Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me.
Oh, I see. Okay. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Noby Ballet.
Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I'll never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I'll start a new life.
You wish to forget? Challenging proposition when you have that striking tiara as a reminder.
But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Nolovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, he would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes. And the crew of the ship, they've all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin.
It kind of makes me question in regards to the crewmate that was guarding this, like, the hallway. Like, we asked him about some suspicious stuff going on, but maybe he wouldn't surely know about Pavlova being a stowaway. Because this is what I'm getting out of this, that Pavlova is also a stowaway as well. Or maybe not stowaway. Like, Pavlova would tell them that somebody is trying to find her and such, so they would know. It's not necessarily that she's hiding from everyone in general, because she didn't have a ticket. Maybe she did have a ticket, it's just that she was hiding from her pursuers. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum.
Yeah, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Me? Oh, well, yeah, of course, a conundrum. Whatever that word means. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... maybe he truly doesn't know what conundrum means. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Beauty stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's right, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard?
Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when he mentioned that.
Yeah, indeed.
It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard.
That is not your business. Yeah, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something.
An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage.
Sorry? What was that?
It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel.
Oh! Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid.
Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist the touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same.
A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. Yeah, Sholmes is surely high on himself as well. He is so high he can basically fly himself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, in fact. Yeah, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right?
Non-living animals are allowed on board, according to the laws of passage. Oh please, don't tell. Don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious...
Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. So reassuring.
But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it?
A cat? Nico? A little rabbit? No. I wanted to see like a little rabbit. Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh. Don't they have small rabbits there, then? You may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of a young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? You must be a chicken. Chicken? I don't know. Like, a part of me wants to believe that she has a monkey.
Really?
Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, you can satisfy the needs of sustenance. What, you mean like emergency food? So you'd eat your friends. I'll keep a mental note of that. It is a good thing that he's not gonna be able to eat me. Cause I'm out of bones! Yo! Oh, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret, not to be revealed. Charlotte doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Is there? Well, we can definitely show some pieces of evidence, but okay, well, she's not gonna allow us to. Don't touch. No.
I'll tell you what I know about last night. But please, you must not touch my things. How do you say? Forbid it.
Oh, sorry. That's why you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have. poking around in a young lady's private belongings. Neither shall I allow it. Hypocrite.